They're the ones keeping us safe, and we owe our lives to them in a sense because they're looking after us. Gatwick Airport dog unit consists of 16 dog handlers, each having 2 dogs. So there's a proactive dog and a people scanning dog for each handler, and all of the dogs are explosive search dogs here at Gatwick. In that, I'm one of the 16 dog handlers. I myself have 2 dogs, as aforementioned, the proactive and the person scanning. My role here is to actively search for any explosive material or trace amounts of explosive material on any persons and or any objects in and around the Gatwick Airport perimeter and building. Passive we now call person scanning. They primarily search people and people alone. They will, however, search objects on that person. So if they're pulling along a suitcase, they will often scan that as well as they're walking past. They're looking for the scent of explosives around that person, and they can follow it back and effectively chase that person, and then they will stand in front and indicate in a passive manner, which is why they were often called passive dogs, and they will sit down in front of that person to let us know that person may or may not have explosives on them. But proactive dogs will search anything bar people, so they are used for searching buildings, people's luggage, routes in and out of the airport, open areas such as car parks, vehicles inside of vehicles, and vessels such as the aircraft contained within the airport. We're looking for any explosive devices and or traces of explosives on a person. It's in company of a firearms team due to the nature of what we're looking for. They're not there to try and intimidate the average holiday maker. We're there hopefully to prevent and deter the people that want to come to the airport and do anyone any harm. So please don't be alarmed if anyone sees us out and about. We are friendly, we are approachable, and we will help you whilst you're here having your holiday. So Gatwick Dog Unit is purely explosive search. The reason being we can't dual roll our dogs. Physically we could. They are capable of detecting drugs and explosives, but should they indicate, it would be the same indication. So if they were to indicate on somebody that had a small amount of drugs on them, it would be the same indication as if they were wearing a vest or a backpack full of explosives. So how we deal with that person, should they want to run away because they don't want to be caught with a small amount of drugs, and how we deal with the person that runs away because they don't want to be caught with a large amount of explosives in their backpack is somewhat different. I can't tell that from my indication from the dog because it's the same. So we do have quite a few negative searches. It's important to the dog that they don't think every single time they're going to get one. That can sometimes bring on a false indication. If they're expecting a reward every search and then you do a negative one, they may give you a false indication just to try and get the ball and try their luck. It's quite easy to read once you're a bit more experienced as a handler as that, but as a novice early on, only a couple of years ago, I may not have been able to pick that up. So we may then be subjecting someone to a lot of unnecessary checks just because the dog's trying to be coy and get their ball as their reward. So my proactive dog is a Springer Spaniel. Her name's Lola. She's one of the smallest Springer Spaniels here. She's lovely, she's very, very responsive to me and very controllable, which was a slight issue in the early days of training because she wouldn't range away from me. When we're searching open areas, we want the dog to actually get ahead of us to find any potential devices off lead away from us, as opposed to us being 5-6 foot away. Just minimises the risk to us a little bit and covers a larger area. So Lola and I are very close. As with the family pet, they are very much part of the family. As a dog handler, you are generally single crewed, so it's just you and your dogs. You don't have a crew partner as in terms of another police officer. It's you and your dogs, so you'll spend time exercising them through the police day. You'll take them and run across fields, obviously for a good run. You are very reliant on their ability to sniff out explosives, so you could say that, you know, they're the ones keeping us safe, and we owe our lives to them in a sense because they're looking after us. So no, it's very strong bond. She's now classed as an experienced dog and she's great. She will now range out. She's very good. She'll always recall. Yeah, she's a lovely little dog. She's 3.5 years old. Yeah, she's lovely. We generally pick up the dogs between 10 and 12 months to start their initial training. Initial training is now a 10-week course from the proactive, and I believe 8 weeks on the person scanning, but don't quote me on the person scanning one. As for me, it's 6 weeks because I was classed as an experienced handler but with a new dog, so it's slightly different if you're a novice handler. At that time, Lola was a bit older. She was a failed gun dog before, so she came to me when she was 2 years old. So slightly more experienced, but no more experienced in the search field of explosives. And it's a 10-week initial course where you can see them going from first recognising the kit and getting the reward, which is amazing how quickly that can be achieved, usually on day one of training, and then progressing through and just seeing their ability until they build up their own confidence in what they're doing, and sometimes become a little bit obnoxious towards us and go, do you know what, Dad, I know better, so don't tell me to search there, I know there's nothing there. It's important that we do maintain a bit of control though. If I ask her to check somewhere, she has to check it, because otherwise we lose that control as such, and then they're not checking thoroughly and ensuring everywhere is being searched to the best that it could be.